Ladies and gentlemen, the Bangles. Welcome to the Bengal Sunday Funday Hour. I'm your host, Jamie, and in this hour, I will be rocking out those awesome Bengal guitar sounds and enjoy the great music that came from those original baby Bengals. Now, in April of 1986, the Bengals' Different Light album had been out, and Manic Monday was climbing the charts. Here we have an interview with Sue, Vicky, Mickey, and Debbi, talking about the stardom that was just starting to hit the band and the moment they knew they had actually made it.
Toured in Europe for 6 weeks previous to this American tour, which we basically just started. And we've just been really working hard and playing a lot of places, and the radio stations have been receptive to the music this time around.
Now, did Prince write Manic Monday or not, or do we sort of, Suzanne, what's the story on that?
Prince wrote Manic Monday.
How did that come about? He liked you, he wanted to write a song?
Yes, he had seen the Bangles in concert and had heard our first record and really liked it a lot. And then by chance, when we went to Europe last year to do a tour, he was on the same plane, and we talked about the fact that we were going to do a new record. And then I think that put the idea in his head.
He said to be crazy about you.
No.
I never ask him things like that, but you know.
But you're close and you're friends. And
friends. He comes to our rehearsals, and he's been
very supportive
of the Bangles.
Does he have an influence?
He and Wendy. Well, we're great admirers of his work. You know, he's a great talent. You just can't deny it.
What about the comparison to the Beatles? Time magazine said the act is full of fun, a songbook full of tunes with enough hooks to put in a tackle box, and a sensual appeal that is insinuating and disarming at once. The Fab Four gets trotted out like some handy musical yardstick for measuring progress and promise. Do you like that association with?
Well, how can you not?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a compliment no matter who says it or when, but we are so reverent of the Beatles, you know, that we wouldn't dream of saying that ourselves.
The influence came where? The sound? Is it the Beatles? Is it the 70s music? Where is it from?
It's everything. I think it's just from our childhood. We just grew up listening to Top 40 radio, which was the Beatles, the Byrds, everybody, you know.
Buffalo Springfield.
Yeah, all the Beach
Boys. All began with B.
Yeah, if you say Marie.
I mean, it's just, there were just chock full of sounds coming out of the radio, and we just were influenced by it.
Music was everywhere in your house.
Yes, that's very true.
How did you come together?
Well,
there's a long story about a classified ad.
Yeah, it's slightly convoluted, but basically we went through an ad in a Los Angeles newspaper.
Somebody was looking to put together a group.
Yeah, Debbi and I had a band, and we were missing a guitar player at the time. Susanna was at that point, she's saying, I've got to have a band, I've got to get this started. So we hooked up in a garage, actually. This is true. We are a garage band.
We are truly a garage band.
The absolute truth. And we exchanged tapes of things we'd done in the past. We sang together. We realized that the voices, that really was, the voices had a mix and a blend that was really
that you liked.
Special.
It really worked. Are you different on music videos and on the music than you are in concert? Because someone made reference to the fact that the sound in concert is harder.
It is a bit more rock, I think. What happens, very rocky.
British influence.
Yes. No, what happens is when we get on stage, we turn the amps up to 11. And, play very loud and try to sing over it, which is always a challenge for our sound man. But it is a more rock sound on stage, even the ballads that we do.
But what's distinctive about you, listen, everything I know about music you could put in this cup. Having said that apology, what's distinctive about what you do is people like the lyrics. They like to hear. Is that fair to say? Is that?
I hope
do you think
so.
that's true, Mickey?
Even though we're playing loud, we always make sure the sound man knows that the vocals have to be cranked so that you can understand every lyric. And that's important on the records too, because I know a lot of people listen to songs, they can't understand the words
It's
at
all sound.
Yeah, and it's real important for us that you can hear the lyrics and know what we're singing about.
Who does most of the writing of the songs, other than Prince? But
He does all the writing.
14 of the 16 songs on the new album
Oh,
are written by you or not?
yeah, actually the majority are written by us.
Yeah. Do all of you write?
Yes.
We do now. We split up the duties, which is real nice.
What's yours?
That's mine.
She's a chalkboard monitor.
I'm chalkboard monitor. I'm sort of the data processor. I kind of take ideas and go and come up with it.
Mickey, you joined late. Was it easy to adjust? Was it different? Was it difficult?
Well, I'd been in several bands before the Bangles, but this is the first.
Including the Runaways.
Yeah, my first and most embarrassing moment in showbiz.
Oh, come now.
Yeah, but it was really interesting how I worked my way into the band. Actually, a roommate of Vicky's had moved out of her house, and I'd said, I want to get into that band. I really like that band. So I moved into the house. It was one of my few
Conniving little
calculated
creature that she
moments. Yes. And it was incredible. They all walked into the house one day and said, Michael, we have to talk to you. It was great.
It's very serious.
What do you feel on stage? What's the reaction? Because there's a lot of sexual energy out there. Everybody writes about that kind of thing, but that's been true a lot in rock and roll, whether it's Jagger or Elvis or James Brown or whoever it has been. If you go back to the roots, it's always been there. But what's the concert like? Who's in the audience? Are they more men than women? Is it...
They have
Definitely were in Europe.
In Europe,
Yeah.
there was a lot of guys.
A
in the
lot of
audience.
guys.
And occasionally you'd see a girl sort of getting squished by all these men out
Is
there.
that different than the United States?
It seems to be more both men and women. In the
Do they
US.
react differently?
They don't go.
Are they more enthusiastic or are
We've
they
had as
more...
many girls screaming at us as guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's an energy. It is sexual. Of course, rock and roll is. You know, it always has been. And we just
Do you
play,
dress like
you know?
this when you're performing?
Pretty much.
Sort of like this, only a little bit more so. Yeah. I don't know. I would say that performing is such a hectic lifestyle, what we're trying to do, and performing is the only time where we can let our hair down, we can relax, we can make a lot of noise, jump around.
It's really a release.
It is such a release. It's wonderful.
It's amazing.
It makes it all worth it.
And you're exhausted afterwards? How long do you stay up? No.
Actually, we're always so
A rush.
vitalized by it.
We're tired the rest of the time.
we were noticing, we come back to the dressing room after the show, and we're all talking at once. We're all screaming and making lots of noise. It's like Animal House. And it's like we're crazy. We're like...
Now, do all of you have different relationships? I mean, do you have time for
Very little time.
for relationships with men?
You try to keep it up. You try to
make time.
You find understanding people. You know, it's really what it is.
Yeah.
Someone who understands what we're doing and that it's important.
Do you sense stardom sort of, I mean, this thing happening, you see it on Time and Newsweek and in the newspapers and the rock press writing about you and taking notice and saying nice things and making all the obvious things, all-girls band, the Beatles sound, all of those kinds of things. When did you notice that sort of you were making it, that it was happening?
I think yesterday when we were standing on a corner and somebody drove by and Manic Monday was on their radio and they were singing along to it. We flipped. Yeah, we really flipped.
The first time you'd heard somebody listening to Manic Monday?
Listening to it in the car. It was in a convertible and it was just peeling out of the radio. It was great. That's when you really realize that your voices are being heard by millions of people, and it's just...
That's a fantasy.
Is it like what you would have expected?
Yes, it's a lot of work.
Stardom?
Yes and no.
How is it different, Nikki?
It's, as I said before, it's tiring. You know, you don't really, when you're a little kid and you're watching those rock bands up there, you don't realize what they go through to do that. It just looks like a lot of fun. But
What don't you realize? What do you go through?
For instance, when we were touring in Europe, our schedule would basically be do the show, get to the hotel, get to sleep around 3 a.m. because you're very keyed up, wake up at 7 the next morning because you have to catch a plane to go to the next country to do a television show which lasts all day. The television show is finished at 9:30. You have to get to the show by 10 o'clock at the club which is 10 miles away. It's snowing.
And you do 4 more
This is
interviews
basically
at the club.
this is how it goes
It's a lot
every
of
day.
hard work, which you didn't think would happen.
But you're not saying that it is so much hard work you don't have time to enjoy it, because
Not
you
at all.
enjoy the
No.
whole process of it. I mean, your happiest moments are on stage, I would
Yes.
say.
Yeah, I mean, you're enjoying your work, which is very important. What more can you ask for? You know?
Yeah.
Making a living at something you enjoy doing.
That's right.
What more can you? And that is success. That's
And when we stop enjoying it, we probably won't do it anymore.
That's right.
Are you changing? Is the sound changing?
Yeah, I think it always changes. I think just, the more you grow up, the more you learn, and the more you record and do things, you just start, learning different things and growing. Our music will grow, I think.
Who's having an influence now? Obviously, Prince is having an
Actually, I
influence.
think we're going back to a lot of the stuff we listened to in the 70s. Now, Joni Mitchell.
I know, I was going to say that. Someone wrote that you like Joni Mitchell a lot.
Yeah, we just met her
Because,
recently.
what?
It's amazing.
She's...
Her lyrics are, first of all, incredible.
Yeah.
Her singing is so... It's almost like her voice and the way she writes songs are all one. It's such a organic sound that she has, and I think that when we did our last record, we learned a lot about writing and about what we can do when we sing together, and I think that's going to come through in the next one too.
Album.
I thank you. It's a pleasure to have you back.
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you.
Much success. It's wonderful to see people doing what they love to do, getting some success and having people...
Walking Down Your Street had originally been planned as the first single for the Different Light album. But as we know, Prince changed all of that with Manic Monday. However, when Walking Down Your Street was released, it still went to number 11 on the charts. And here it is on the Bengal Sunday Funday Hour.
Love that She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus and America too. She's a good girl, crazy about Elvis, loves horses and her boyfriend too. And it's a long day living in the cedar. There's a freeway running through the yard, and I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart.
And I'm free, free falling. Yeah, I'm free, free falling.
All the vampires walking through the valley move westbound Ventura Boulevard, and all the bad boys are standing in the shadows, and all the good girls are home with broken hearts.
And I'm free, free falling. Yeah, I'm free, free falling.
Free falling, I'm a free falling, I'm a free falling, I'm a free falling. I wanna glide down over Mulholland. I wanna ride her, name in the sky. I wanna free fall out into nothing. Gonna leave this world for a while.
And I'm free,
Falling, I'm a free falling.
free falling.
I'm a free falling.
Yeah, I'm free,
I'm a free falling.
free falling.
Free falling, I'm a free falling, I'm a free falling.
And I'm free, free falling. Yeah, I'm free, free falling. And I'm free,
Oh, we are always ready, as you can well see.
Don't do what I did. Don't do what I have done. Turning the world against you, all in the name of having fun. You'll only feel ashamed. You'll have yourself to blame, like I did. Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. Don't break a beating heart. Don't try to rend asunder what no man should tear apart. You'll only feel so bad. You'll only wish you had it done like I did. Don't do what I have done. All the love I ever had, only ever wanted bad, bad enough to wind up dead. loser. All you can learn to do is don't do what I did and pick on a love that's true. That was my big mistake, the one that I had to make. Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. Don't do what I have done.
And we just heard Matthew Sweet and Susanna cover another classic song with brilliance, Tom Petty's Free Fallin', followed by the Continental Drifters and Don't Do What I Did. Now in 1983, it was a very busy year for Bangles' original founding bassist Annette Zelenskis. Her and her boyfriend Greg Davis had started Blood on the Saddle, a band that was part of a new movement called cowpunk. However, Annette was still in the Bangles, and the band was on the English Beat Tour. When she got back, the pressure was on. Annette decided one night when Vicky and Sue came to visit her after a concert in May of 1983 that she broke the news she was leaving to be full-time lead singer and rhythm guitar player in Blood on the Saddle. This opened up the door for Mickey Steele to join the Bangles. Here's Annette Zelenskis talking about her days in Blood on the Saddle and her favorite songs in the band.
We did want to ask about when you left the Bangles to start Blood on the Saddle. Is it because you wanted to play a larger role in a band? Is that why you left the Bangles?
It was complex. I was I was kind of a restless teenager, and yeah, I mean, initially I wanted to sing, that's kind of what I was doing. Like I said, I was doing demos in high school of singing, and that's kind of what I was always thinking I would be. But, soon I got along so well. And again, it was, a really great opportunity to play. But yeah, I was kind of wanting to sing. They obviously had those bases covered as far as 3 or 4 part harmonies, which I wasn't really that great at doing. I can't really do those intricate type, beach boy, beach girl harmonies. So anyways, long story short, yeah, I wanted to sing, and I have roots music is something that I was singing to. And I met yet again through the recycler, Greg Davis from Blood on the Saddle. And he was, we got together, and he was a absolutely fantastic guitarist. And so that melded. That was actually going on simultaneously as I was playing with the Bangles.
Oh, wow.
And so he was ramping that up more and more. That was a scene that was happening too. Like I said, there were simultaneous different things going on, and the roots scene, sort of like the Texan Horseheads Gun Club, was starting to happen, and his music was very exciting to me, and it was an opportunity for me to sing. Plus, we were a couple, so there was some of that pull there, and so yeah, I started to sing more and more with Blood on the Saddle, and it was a lot of fun for me. Yeah, and even though it was obviously not as big of an audience or as an arena at that time, being, I think it was like 19 or 20 or something, that doesn't really come into play. You don't really think about those things, you know what I mean?
Right.
And we got pretty quickly, D. Boone from the Minutemen saw us play, and he asked us to be on his label, so we jumped on that. That was a great opportunity.
So,
Right.
Annette, did you have any input into the sequencing of the album? Like what songs went first? You mentioned Blood on the Saddle, the instrumental that starts the album. Did you have a say in the sequencing?
Not really. No. I didn't really. No, that's an interesting question, but no, not really. I didn't really care. Something I want to bring up also is that it's interesting because with the Bangles, we were lucky and got airplay with Rodney, and obviously Rodney was on K-Rock, which is not college, but college radio was just starting to happen, around Blood on the Saddle days. So we got exposure from that. Even though Rodney did play Single Girl on his show. It was kind of exciting because of the college radio momentum happening for bands that were not on, say, major labels, that were getting a lot of support from that you could basically book tours around, you know, and that's what we did, and that was the ethos of SST and New Alliance was, you know, record, tour, merchandise, and they were very much ahead of the game in that philosophy, which, as you know, is how you do it now. You know, you tour. But radio is what kind of propelled Blood on the Saddle. College radio, rather, propelled us and got us to be kind of big college. You know, we did pretty good in Europe. We did good there and other places in the U.S.
You guys recorded Fresh Blood for SST. Was Greg Ginn the one that signed you guys to SST?
Yeah, I want to say yes. Yes, because, New Alliance, Debbi passed. But, so Greg Ginn did sign us to SST, yes.
Another question about Blood on the Saddle. What led to you leaving the band? You mentioned earlier that you and Greg had a relationship. Did it have anything to do with that, or was it just...
Yeah, sure. I mean, it kind of, you know, it was about 5 years I was in the band, so, you know, I just kind of, it ran its course. You know, we toured frequently, we went to Europe, we toured Europe, and so it definitely ran its course, and, it has something to do with the relationship as well, sure.
Yeah, and I did see that interview on YouTube of you and Greg, and it sounded like that you mentioned Europe, and it sounded like they really took a liking to you.
Sure did. God, they loved aspects of very Americana, you know, myth, I guess, right? I mean, not just overall, yeah, sure. I mean, they loved Gun Club and Texan Horses, so there was definitely a pattern there, for sure. It was very fun. It was a great way to travel, you know, to meet people, like, and you know, see different countries, different places through your music, through your art. I don't think there's anything better than that, really.
It's so cool.
I can't think of it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Totally, yeah, it's the best. I love touring. You see, it's not for everybody, but to me, it's like how can you not like to travel? You know what I mean? It's for me, it goes hand in hand. Plus, it's a really nice way to meet people as well.
So, did Blood on the Saddle do extensive touring in the States?
We did. When I was in the band, you know, they obviously continued on after I left, but yes, we did. Sure. You know, the booking through SST and New Alliance, you had it in a way that you'd go, they had their different routes, you know, the Southwest or whatnot, and then you get to the East Coast and then you jump over and...
Well, I wanted to ask about that because, so with Blood on the Saddle, you recorded 3 albums. The debut that was released on Mike Watt and D. Boone's label New Alliance in 1984, and Poison Love in 86 on Chameleon Records, and then Fresh Blood on SST in 1987. These 3 albums, do you have a favorite among the 3 of those?
You know, I would say this, I hate to generalize, but I'll say this not only with my stuff, but just in general. I always like the early stuff because that's the most pure, the most instinctive art form. You know, you don't think about it too much. So I will say, you know, for sure the first one, the first album I liked, the initial hit. And
is there a favorite song of yours on that particular album?
Gosh, I can't remember all the albums, all the titles. I kind of like I think Car Mechanic Blues is on that, and I like it a lot. I like Single Girl, those 2 songs. I like the instrumental, Blood on the Saddle. Yeah, I think that's Johnny's at the Fair is not on the first one.
No.
I gotta look at the song list, but overall, I think I like the first album.
Down your top and check under the hood. The last one undo is working so good. Get down in your engine and play with all your wires. Stroke your starter and make your spark plugs fire.
Was Blood on the Saddle with Car Mechanic Blues and I Wished I Was a Single Girl Again. Now, when COVID hit in 2020, Fran Healy of Travis got Susanna to sing a duet for one of their songs on the new Travis album. The Only Thing is a beautiful song, and Susanna's amazing vocals shine through. Here it is now on the Bengals Sunday Funday Hour.
I'm
In the future, should we meet accidentally on the street? In the future, far away, I'll remember you today. If you ask, I'll fill a blast tonight with dynamite.
Down the line, will we all run on that free sunshine? In the future, what will they say when they talk about us as yesterday? If you ask, I'll fill a flash tonight with a dynamite. What I see right now, where we go doesn't matter anyhow. All I know is that we're here right now.
In the future, with technology, show some mercy to humanity. Or in the future, be prepared for the sweet love we should have shared. If you ask, I'll fill a glass tonight with dynamite.
All I know is what I see right now. Where we go doesn't matter anyhow. All I know is that we're here right now.
to me. Oh, let it be. Please let it be. Oh, my love, please end these sleepless nights for me.
And we just heard from the Action Skulls and their song In the Future from the Angels Here album, and the beautiful rendition of Sleepless Nights by Kindred Spirit. In fact, it was Debbi Peterson's birthday this past week, and everybody, all Bengals fans out there, want to wish Debbi a happy birthday. Now, turning to Brad Lehner of Medicine, he is a guy who is willing to try just about anything experimental. When Brad and Annette came up with the band, Medicine was known as one of the first shoegaze ensembles for America. But what about recording a song on your phone? Well, here is Brad to fill you in on the details.
So the next song, the coding song, pickup song, you said you tried to stay pretty true to the original. On the original, it gets pretty loud at parts,
Yeah.
and you guys stay pretty atmospheric.
It's a rock song, and we just did the very spontaneous, gather around the piano version. Except for the only thing I took from the coding thing was the gigantic slide bass part. Any excuse to play slide bass. I mean, so, that was Annette's idea, and I just like the perversity of like dropping suddenly a song from a '90s American alternative band in there. But I remember in the old days when Annette was in the band and we were first starting it, that she was really into that Codeine record. So it just meant that Codeine record actually reminds me of when we worked together before. So it was actually perfect. I mean, it's very much an Annette thing. I mean, I was never a massive fan. I just,
Yes.
But I like the confusing aspect of it. And it's also funny that that Medicine covered Codeine, and it's
Yeah. And Brad, I got to tell you that Annette's singing on this song reminds me of Louise Bialik when I hear Annette's voice. Anyways, a name from the past.
Yeah, it's a significant name from my past, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, I mean it's really neat, and that piano and vocal was recorded on my phone.
What?
Yeah. I just put my phone down next to the piano, and so that basic track is Annette and I playing it, live into my phone, and then I overdubbed the rest properly. But yeah, I'm known to do that occasionally. There's a song on the Happy Few record that we did a few years ago that's almost entirely recorded on my phone.
Wow.
So they sound good,
Begs the question, what phone do you have?
It's just my iPhone.
Wow.
Try it at home, kid.
Now we know if we ever get together with Brad, just be ready to perform on the spot.
That's right. You never know. We're making a record.
All right.
Don't remember your kiss. Can't remember what I meant.
Someone has hurt you and torn you apart. Am I unwise to open up your eyes to love me?
Let it be like they said it would be. Me loving you, girl, and you loving me. Am I unwise to open up your eyes to love
Run to me whenever you're lonely. Run to me if you need a shoulder. Now and then you need someone older. So darling, you run to me. And when you're out in the cold, no one beside you and no one to hold. Am I unwise to open up your eyes to love me?
And when you've got nothing to lose, nothing to pay for, nothing to choose, am I unwise to open up your eyes to love
Run to me whenever you're lonely. Run to me if you need a shoulder. Now and then you'll need someone older. So darling, you run to me whenever you're lonely. Run to me if you need a shoulder. Now and then you'll need someone older. So darling, you run to me whenever you're lonely. Run to me if you need a shoulder. Now and then you'll need someone older.
And those were two beautifully done vocal songs with Annette and Medicine doing the pickup song and Susanna with Matthew Sweet singing Run to Me from their Under the Covers collection. Now the Bangles broke up in 1989, but it was a certain movie that featured the international man of mystery that got the band recording back in the studio. With Susanna's husband Jay Roach directing the film, he wanted a Bangles song on the soundtrack, and he would get his wish.
Now, Susanna, you had a small part in the Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
How, and you're a fan of 60s music, so
Oh,
how
totally.
fun was that?
That was really fun. My husband directed all the Austin Powers movies, so that's made it easy for me to kind of get involved and get the Bangles to do a song for it. But yeah, it was really fun. I introduced Mike Myers to my friend Matthew Sweet years ago because I thought that they would click musically, and we came up with this crazy little band called Mean Tea. And we were all in it, and we played about 3 shows all together, but we did some music in the movies and little, you know, there was some little videos that we made that went into the movies, and that was a lot of fun. I love the clothes.
For the first time together since the breakup in 1989, here are the Bangles with Get the Girl from the Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me soundtrack.
When I saw you, every single part of me said, yeah, yeah, yeah. My eyes wanted
to you, you're not my kind. Do I deceive you with this fragile disguise? Ask me no questions and I will tell you no lies. If she could read my heart, it would break her mind. So I pretend all these tears on my face don't imply that I'm not happy just to see you with her. One small voice that will never be heard. I'm in love with you. Oh, I'm in love with you. But I turn away when you look in my eyes. Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you. Oh, I'm in love with you. Trying to smile with a hole in my heart. No one knows I'm falling apart. I'm in love with you. Oh, I'm in love with you. But I turn away when you look in my eyes. Ask me no questions, I'll tell you